It's on. Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, life enhancement consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this, I don't even know what day it is, on this Monday. We're day 3 of the 21-day spiritual vacation here in Bovina, New York. I'm actually in Margaretville, which is the only, I think it's the closest place that I can get open Wi-Fi. Hold on, I got messages coming in. Hey, Jennifer, Namaste. How are you, dear? So, I'm at Freshtown in Margaretville. This is the place that everyone in the area comes to get their groceries. And it's a cute little place. A lot of fond memories of going on retreats over the past 11 years in this area. And I'm going to be... I'm actually at Namaste. Jennifer, oh yeah, love me some Bovina. It's an interesting place. I always wonder to myself, I go, why did the masters pick Bovina, New York, of all places, to set up an ashram with 70 acres? But, you know, I'm sure there was lots and lots of calculations. You'd think I would have asked them at this point after coming to this place for over 11 years. Krista, Namaste. So I'm just here, touching base with some people, following up with some clients, being productive while we're on our lunch break, which ends in about an hour, and then we're going to be doing water purification in the pond. In Bovina, there's 2 ponds. One is a man-made pond, one is a natural pond, and we do certain purification exercises for our energy bodies. And we did those yesterday. I guess we're going to be doing it every day for the 21 days, and super powerful. When you're on these retreats, the first several days of all the retreats is on purifying, cleansing, and then we sit down, we look at our goals, we look at our lives, we look at where we want to move forward, and then we write those down, and then we bless them, we energize them, now that we're clear-headed, if you will. So, yeah, it's been an interesting 3 days so far. It's been very, very good, super blessed, super great notes already, sitting right up front, which is unusual for me because I'm usually sitting really far in the back with one of my homeboys causing trouble and being loud and disrespectful to the masters. Apologies to Master Choa and to the pranic healing masters. Sometimes it's hard just to keep the mouth closed and the ears open. It was interesting. I was talking with one of the she's not a long-time practitioner, but she's been around pranic healing for a long time, and she's taken at least level 1 pranic healing. And it was interesting because she's like, I'm around this stuff all the time. I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. And it's like, I don't need to hear it anymore. And I thought that was a really valid point, because when you're exposed to something all the time, you become familiar with it. And as the old saying goes, familiarity breeds contempt. And so I suggested to her, Sandip, Namaste, I suggested to her, why not empty your cup for this retreat? Empty your cup. Look at pranic healing with new eyes, with new ears, with new everything, new perspectives, and see if that helps shift you. And funny enough, as soon as I said, empty your cup, she immediately got it, and you could see her shift. And then, later on the evening, when one of the masters was giving a talk, he mentioned emptying the cup. And I was like, man, in sync, yeah. So, familiarity breeds contempt. And I've been doing this stuff for 15 years. And so, at certain times, in certain classes, there's a tendency for me to sit back and become distracted. But then I realized, Nadia, Namaste, then I realized there are levels of truth. There are levels of truth. And the levels of truth are infinite. So you have to constantly keep emptying your cup to have your cup filled up. So there's an example. I kind of already spoiled the punchline for you guys, but there's an example of a great sage who was visited by a great king, and this king wanted to learn spiritual things from this sage, and he was telling him, you know, all the stuff that he knew, all the life experiences that he had. And so the sage invited him into the kitchen, and he began to, you know, make tea for the both of them. And he started pouring the tea. And as the tea started filling up to the cup, it started overflowing, and it started overflowing from the tea off the table on the table, off the table, onto the robes of the king. And the king was furiated. He goes, "What are you doing? Why are you still pouring the tea? The cup is already full." "William, Abba Namaste." And he says, "That's exactly what you are right now. That's exactly what you are right now. You are in the process of having your cup, you're not emptying your cup. So you're coming to me for spiritual teachings, for spiritual guidance, for spiritual blessings, but you already know it all. Your cup is already full, so nothing else can go in." So it's a great reminder that when we go on spiritual retreats, even though this is my, not just in pranic healing, but in general, this is my 57th, 58th retreat, something like that, over the past 20 years. But does that mean I become a master, that I'm enlightened, that I know it all, that I am, omniscient? No, of course not. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I still make mistakes. I'm learning some big lessons already, and it's only been 3 days of 21 days of the spiritual vacation. So that being said, we have to keep emptying our cup, and we empty our cup by having humility. We empty our cup by asking different questions. We empty our cup by going deeper with the answers that we've already been given. And that's what I would recommend and suggest for each and every one of you who are maybe feeling burned out, maybe feeling like you've been there, done that, you've heard this, you've heard that, whether it's at work, whether it's with a hobby, whether it's with education, whether it's with your inner circle. Like, think about this. We have partners, right? We have husbands, we have wives, we have boyfriends, we have girlfriends, we have significant others. Do we know them backwards and forwards, inside and out, above and below? Do we? You know how I know we don't? Is because we don't know ourselves to that level. We don't know ourselves inside and out, backwards and forwards, upwards and downwards, right? So if we don't know ourselves and we're still learning and growing, Lorena, I'm going to say we're still learning and growing and becoming better people, think about that from the perspective of knowing another person, right? It's infinite. It's infinite. As the famous Greek philosophers Aristotle, Socrates, and Plato would say on the steps of what was it? Delphi, I think. Know thyself. Isabel, Atma Namaste. Know thyself. And so it all goes back to that. Know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. One of my big ahas so far in the past 3 days is constantly, never-endingly, the two big ahas I got, constantly, never-endingly knowing God, staying connected to God. And the other one that I'm going to have to remind myself for the rest of my incarnation is recognizing that each and every person that we come in contact with is a divine child of God. Every single person that we come in contact with is a divine child of God. So we have to see past their limitations. We have to see past their personality and ego. We have to see past their weaknesses. We have to see past the things that they do or say that irritate and annoy us because of our own limited thinking and our own limited awareness and limited understanding, and recognize that that person sitting across from us, no matter who and what they are, no matter what their belief system is, no matter what their gender is, what their sexual preferences are, no matter what the race and religion and creed that they follow is, they are a divine child of God. And if you can see each and every person as a divine child of God, Vince, Atma Namaste, then how can you be mean and cruel and harsh and severe and damaging to another person? Now, I'm not saying, please hear me, I'm not saying I've mastered this lesson. I simply had a deeper level of understanding of the lesson. Nadia, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Jenny, Atma Namaste. Pat, Atma Namaste. That was the big aha for me. That was the big takeaway for me. That we are all divine children of God. And to see that, and not just to see that, but to sense that, to know that, to embody that in other people. Like, yeah, it's a lifetime of practice. It's a lifetime of practice. It's kind of like Grandmaster Chola Koksui has the 4 tenets that we talk about, or one of the lessons is know, remember, practice, and master. Know, remember, practice, and master. Know, remember, practice, master. Know the teachings, remember the teachings, which is what I'm working on, practice the teachings for a prolonged period of time, and then at some point you will have mastered those teachings. And I'm very far away from most of those, mastering the teachings. So that's it, guys. That being said, I don't know when we're going to get Wi-Fi back at the ashram. No clue. I mean, I have a kind of a clue, but it's been completely squirrely and unpredictable the past few days. So when I get on, I get on. And if not, I'll head over to Margaretville every few days to send out a stream, send out some value, pick up some groceries, get an ice cream or something like that. I'm trying to watch my sugar intake for this retreat, which is super important to me, and I've been really good about it. And that's it. So I love you guys very, very much. If you need healing, reach out to me at ChristianRLong.com. ChristianRLong.com, it's my name. And that's now would not be a good time, so book it maybe 2.5 weeks out. I won't be around for 3 weeks, so book it about 2.5 weeks out, and I look forward to serving you. So have a beautiful Monday, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant. Atma. Namaste. Bye-bye.